Hello, and welcome back to Doctor Who, Series 3, Episode 6, The Lazarus Experiment. Once again, I'm joined by my brother Caden.
Hey.
I mean, that works too. You see, I was kind of hoping you'd come in, like, overly cheerful, just as, like, real. I know I don't talk about these things beforehand. We just play that guess the episode game, but no, today we are watching the Lazarus Experiment. Maybe if you can prove me wrong by pulling up some past video, but I think perhaps this is the first episode of Doctor Who that's just bad for me. I'm trying to think. Fear Her is not like great. No, there's some fun stuff in Fear Her. Yeah. Like that news guy who isn't a fun guy. Right. Like, it's kind of funny watching him just still do his broadcast as, like, everyone disappears. That's fun. I like Love and Monsters. I don't know. If you had one that you're like, that wasn't good.
None stand out.
Yeah, Fear Her is the closest, but for me, this is the first bad one. And hey, it's the one before the Chibnall episode, which is actually good. So we're in crazy wacko world. It's written by the guy who wrote The Doctor's Daughter. That's his only other contribution. I went, really? Because that's a good one. I don't know. It's not good. First
maybe
off,
the fact that it's the first bad episode makes it a good episode. You can almost enjoy that it's something
maybe we'll have some fun. I'd like to so people have as much time as possible. Explain what we're doing here today. If you don't know, you sat down, you went, oh boy, Lazarus Experiment. I don't know who these people are, but let's watch that. First off, well done. Good on you for having opinions and sticking to them. I'm much the same. When it comes to Doctor Who, controversial opinions, 6 Doctor Code, OG, Zygon, OG, like, just great, and Zygon's more speech bad. We are going to be doing an audio commentary track live, so in a little bit, we're going to ramble so you can get set up. We're going to do a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone's going to hit play. I'll play a blurred version of the episode in the background, which, thinking about that, is that set up? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But obviously, for legal reasons, I can't just stream the video or audio for a Doctor Who episode, so it's bring your own video, bring your own audio. For Doctor Who, this is a little bit unfortunate because there are essentially, well, we're going to call it 2 versions of every Doctor Who episode. There's the original UK broadcast and what we're calling the American version. They are exactly the same, except the American version is about 4% slower. We are watching the American version. It is from the complete David Tennant collection Blu-ray release for Region 1, specifically. I have digital backups of it, which is why it looks like VLC Media Player, because it is. This seems to be what most streaming services have. I imagine iPlayer wouldn't, but I haven't been able to confirm that. But we do know that German Amazon has this, and of course, being the definitive Amazon, that's where. I actually had to buy something off not German Amazon yesterday. It's arriving today. And it was real crushing. It's just subpar products.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, but we like to ramble a little bit. I like to describe the episode twice, weirdly. I don't know, for some reason there's like I describe it, and then I describe something totally differently. It never really makes sense, but that's what I like to do for Caden.
That was pretty good.
Last week, I totally fumbled over every bit of the Star Trek intro, which is, like, just the bit about how we're doing a watch-along. There's no different versions. There's no, like, I fumble my way through that whole thing, and it's like, nowadays with Doctor Who, which we do less frequently, because sometimes you miss, we get the new stuff. I am on autopilot, like, basically the whole thing. And the hardest part, the different version thing, is pure autopilot. Like, once I get to that point, I can shut my brain off. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, today was a good one. It's been a while since
really hey, no, I've been consistent. You just haven't noticed.
There's usually a blip here and there.
You were talking about something before I interrupted you, though.
Was I?
It might have just been how maybe it's the first bad one. That'll be fun.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
maybe we'll get enjoyment out of it.
there's I mean there's some. This one's famous, right? I think one
Mm.
of the reasons a lot of people don't like it is very bad CGI. It's
Ooh.
arguably, I'm not going to look at every example, but it's arguably the worst CGI in Modern Who. Um, Possibly the entire franchise, because Classic Who didn't do CGI much.
Mm.
Um, I think that's a big reason most people don't like it. That's why C cited the most. You'll never hear me mention that when I talk about why I don't like this episode. Um,
Okay.
this episode is obviously about it's about a guy named Lazarus, right?
Mm.
And he's doing an experiment.
Oh.
No, there is more to that. I just wanted to, I wanted to pause. No, there's more to that. So basically, Lazarus, he's kind of wandering around doing his old Lazarus thing,
Right.
and he encounters one of those old ads, like with the owl, It's like 1, a 2, a 3, crunch, and he wonders,
Yeah.
how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, right?
Ooh. I just
And
had
so
an argument about that.
he's a very
Yeah.
curious, likable sort of man, Lazarus. A very, you'd root for him. Bit of an underdog, kind of nerdy. He's got like suspenders, glasses, big buck teeth with braces, that sort of thing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, very like, but
Not what I
he's
was
lovable.
saying
He's very
about it now.
sincere.
Yeah.
But the Shadow Proclamation gets wind of this, right?
Oh,
And there's a reason the world may never know how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
mhm.
It's just, you don't know the horrors that would be unleashed. Every world that's tried, get gone. They're just not there anymore,
Uh-huh.
It's real bad. And
Yeah.
so basically this kid's he's a kid. He's actually the naked kid from the commercials. It's real weird in live action, but it works. And yeah, if you never noticed, I'm pretty sure that the Tootsie Pop kid is naked in the commercials. I feel like I should site check that, because if he's not, you Google that. Google the Tootsie Pop
I'm gonna.
kid. But yeah, they basically have to stop him, and the doctor's working. It's this big battle against like the quest for knowledge and how institutions, like some authoritarian or like extremist religious factions, can just try and get in the way of that, and about not following tradition for tradition's sake. And I won't spoil it how many licks it takes if he even figures that out. But yeah, it's a real bad end, as we established earlier. Actually, it's not good at all. Is he naked?
Well, he's not naked, but he's
Tootsie
not
Pop.
not
He's not
naked.
drawn with any clothes, right? He's just like a
Yeah.
white outline. Yeah, no, he's naked. Look at that with the owl. He's
But then I
naked.
scrolled down a little and I saw. Well, I actually don't know if that's him.
He's got like little butt cheeks. Come on, it's like good.
He might be a little naked.
Because if he wasn't naked and I remembered him being naked as a kid, that'd be really weird. Actually, sorry, he
I
doesn't
had
have
a
little
very
butt
intense
cheeks. He has big.
conversation about getting to the center of a Tootsie Pop over Christmas
Right.
this year.
Here's the thing. First off, I was going to say, I have no idea if this ad campaign exists outside of America. A lot of people might just be really confused. I reference that to 1, a 2, a 3, crunch all the time. It's been years every time my wife laughs. Every time. They somehow don't see it coming. It's like, it's hilarious. But no, so how many licks, right?
Well,
Obviously, 0, because you don't have to lick. But, the question does seem to assume only using licks. There's kind of an implied thing in that question, right? So obviously, 1. Just 1 continuous, like, hours-long lick, right? But you might say that's, again, against the spirit. What if, like, normal licks, right?
yeah.
Well, then, obviously, first off, it's not difficult to find out. That's the whole point of the ad. You buy one, and then you count your licks. That's the point.
Yeah.
And then you probably get bored because you're a kid. But you obviously just set up some scientific study, get some representative sample of people, some representative sample of Tootsie Pops, and just, like, count their licks and stuff. But that's also boring. No one wants to do it because it'd ruin it. You could Google it, though. I'm sure loads of people have. The whole point is that the owl goes crunch,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if I stole that from you, but it's a big thing of mine.
Well, no, I was wondering if you were going to land on my issue with it.
Okay.
Is that
What's the center, of course.
yeah? How do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
define is the center the
Does-
center of the Tootsie Pop, or is it when you make it to the Tootsie?
Yeah.
Of the
Is
Tootsie
it the first, like, exposed chocolate bit? Is that reaching? Or do you have to, like, get rid of all of it? Or is there a
I think
threshold?
the center is
Yeah.
the
Or is it
the center
is it
geometrically.
the top of the stick, where like
Dude,
beneath the chocolate center
how
is the
far into the
true
stick?
mathematical center, the point.
You have to go into the stick?
It'd take a lot of licks to get through that chocolate center, I would imagine.
But I feel like that's what the center is. That's
Yeah,
my
this
take.
is gonna be leagues above the actual episode, by the way. this this content here, because the reason I don't like the Lazarus experiment, and I think it is worth actually talking about this before we get into the episode, because otherwise it's gonna dominate. Sci-fi is just a genre. It really loves storylines where people like become immortal or some sort of everlasting life or youth sort of thing, right? You've probably noticed.
Yeah.
You might have noticed that the guy's name is Lazarus, and you might know Lazarus, biblical Lazarus, or just that sci-fi loves naming their immortal characters Lazarus, because I don't even think Bible Lazarus was immortal. He just came back from the dead because Jesus or something. I don't actually know if I've read that one in full, but right. And what they love doing is putting the immortal character in front of the screen and going, immortality would suck, you're bad, and just kind of taking that as a given. I mean, there's gonna be some other examples, but it often falls in that argument that can be really bad with like sci-fi and fantasy of presenting some moral situation and then just declaring one side correct and not really exploring either argument, or doing the thing is like, immortality sucks because I wrote it sucking, therefore it sucks. It's like, well, you could just as easily write it not sucking, and then like problem solved. And this is one of those episodes, but it's uniquely bad, and I'm just against that. If you want loads of great resources about why immortality wouldn't suck, CGP Cray has a video, Fable of the Dragon Tyrant, which is amazing. He didn't write the Fable, it's gone around, but he has an animation of it, which is a great telling of it. There's an allegory for, there's a dragon that is the allegory for like death, you know. And Kurzgesagt, in a nutshell, don't ask me how to spell it, just in a nutshell would probably work. The German bird animation channel had a few videos, actually with CGP Grey. CGP Grey has other videos, but I really like that one, about how immortality, people seem to describe it wrong. They always describe it as some dystopian, like, well, I wouldn't want to live forever. I'm like, well, okay, I guess everyone who does has to die then. Or it's like some curse, like you could never die. It's like, well, no, like I could go hours on this, but it's like your options are just die like randomly at some point, probably in many decades, or like just die when you decide, all right, yeah, you know, I've had enough, I'm ready, you know. Like, either way, you're still I don't see the bad. They're gonna argue it way better. I don't want this to become ours, you know. But I'd recommend those resources. I will try not to really have this be like a 45-minute rant on immortality, unless you want. Maybe that's what the people want. Just totally ignore the episode. But what's uniquely bad about this one, right, is the Doctor is functionally immortal, and at many times in the past and in the future, he's referred to like even 100 years old as being young or a child, or like there's a scene in like one of the finales this season where he talks about as children at the academy, they go stare in like an untempered schism. I'm pretty sure he says they're like 40 or something, you know, because the joke is that they live forever. It's like, Doctor, this is the guy who's like has a big temper tantrum because he doesn't want to regenerate, not die, regenerate. It's like, yeah, no, this is so it just comes off as really condescending. And of course, the Doctor's problem with immortality is that all his friends die. But you know what? Maybe if you didn't leave Gallifrey, that wouldn't be a problem. Or heck, maybe if humanity invented immortality, your friends wouldn't die, because they're immortal now too. In fact, you would die, Doctor. You aren't technically immortal. Like,
I have a seemingly unrelated question, but it'll loop back around.
Yeah.
The Time Lords invented linear time.
By EU, yes. We get a little complicated, but go on. Let's just take this as read.
Other other species existed at the same time as the Time Lords? Did they exist
Possibly. Well,
pre-linear time?
have you met any of them? We do actually see, like, they're the Eternals, who were, like, when the Doctor meets an Eternal and says he's a Time Lord, the Eternal reacts with, "Are there lords of such a small domain?" Just to kind of frame them. You met Maestro, who's like the toy maker's kid. They're kind of nebulously defined, probably beings from like the previous universe. But to answer your question, yes, there are multiple kind of facets of beings.
But they're more powerful than Time Lords.
Oh yeah, yes, just.
But there wasn't anything less powerful than them. Because like, if
there would have been a bunch. I mean, there was an early war between Time Lords and vampires that is casually dropped into the lore in the Fourth Doctor. It's real bizarre. I know, it was weird at the time.
Was everything? The main question here is: was everything immortal, age-wise, before the Time Lords invented linear time?
We're starting to brush up against like the TV part of canon. When you get in this real early stuff, there's a lot of conflicting things. But, like, no. I mean, the Time Lords were basically just normal people before they invented or stole regeneration. Depends who you want to go off of. And not even all Gallifreyans are Time Lords today. Like, the Time Lords are sort of the elites of Gallifreyan society. It's not explored too much on TV. But I'd love to have these conversations. We are 16 minutes into the stream, and we haven't started this episode. So maybe... I mean, we could keep going. People have been going. I love talking about all this random Doctor Who stuff. But yeah, no, I love mentioning how they just casually drop the war. The Fourth Doctor, right? At some point in the middle of like an otherwise normal story goes, it's just occurred to me, there are vampire legends on almost every world in the universe. Maybe they exist. And then they just Google in their TARDIS and discover an apparently secret war, like mega war between Rassilon and the vampires. And then the episode takes a hard right turn into like gothic vampire.
I love that.
It's a good one. But it's like, what do you mean they went to war with the vampires? I know New Who likes doing monsters out of like, we had the werewolf monster in Tooth and Claw.
Yeah.
There's probably examples before the Fourth Doctor, but this wasn't really like a frequent thing. It was weird when they're just like, oh yeah, vampires. Also, they're an integral part of Time Lord lore. Like, I think that war is why they swore off violence. It's like...
That's a little bit.
Yeah, just casually. Yeah, vampires, the biggest enemy of the Time Lords. Anyway, we should probably get started. We could keep rambling on. As I said, this isn't a good episode. But I think we probably should get started, especially because you're 3 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
How was the stream, by the way, in the future?
It was
Forgot
great.
it already?
It was great. The episode was horrible, but it was great.
Watch you love it. All right, as I said before, we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone's going to hit play, and we're going to be all synced up. Don't skip intros. Don't do any of that junk. Just let it play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. By the way, I've been streaming for 30... Ah, shit, it's going to fall asleep.
Yeah, it might.
Ah, phew. Okay, no, we made it. Didn't fall asleep. I've been streaming for 33 minutes. So I feel like we've been live way more than actually have.
That was a good bundle of knob and twisty lever close-ups in the TARDIS. Yeah. Always need to love that.
You should fly the TARDIS like that.
Yeah, 100%.
The 12th actually doesn't. At some point, he basically learns how the TARDIS works. There's an energy to that I can kind of get behind, but you still have to fumble around, I'm amazed she has room for that police box.
I gotta take in this.
I know, I'm looking around.
Set.
We learned Mickey had like amazing set design, right?
Mickey's was great.
Mickey had
really the character.
If you didn't watch season 1, he had kind of a generic, mostly empty room in the first episode. When they come back after he meets the Doctor, it's like covered in sci-fi crap and like a bunch of stellar maps and alien theories. It's beautiful character work.
Martha seems a little.
What? Oh my
I don't
gosh,
know.
she's older than I
I've
remember.
loved the clutter of all of like Rose's entire apartment.
But she just has her
So,
life a bit more together.
I
That okay,
guess
that's
so.
harsh. That came out really harsh towards Rose. You know, a teenager with a single mother, neither of which have high-paying jobs in a flat in the middle of London. Yes, Rose's apartment is a little messier, but you know,
But it gives that
Martha's a
sense of like really
doctor.
being lived in.
Well,
I guess
Martha's a
Martha.
doctor, so she's got a decent enough income, I'd imagine. Like she's in training, but still.
Yeah.
Martha might even be like the most well-off companion we get. I mean, Amy's got a happy ending after they kind of leave the doctor, but as a companion, they're not really that. I guess I don't know. They have a house, but in like a small English village. I have no idea how much that costs. What is this wallpaper though?
Good question. Classic.
I might be into it, but I don't know. Like she's got this green shelf. Are we sure this isn't the 70s? They didn't. Oh, I'm not playing the blurred episode. They didn't render the inside of the TARDIS. Not to nitpick, but
You know, I think we might have talked about this before.
yeah.
But we mentioned it's important to stay linked with the viewers at home that can't skip intros. But
Yeah.
I take personal offense to people
yeah.
that skip intros to shows.
So do I. They're
It's-
just wrong in general.
They're
What's
just
wrong
so
with you?
wrong. Even if it's a horrible intro, you
Yeah.
have this relationship with
One
it
of the
throughout
Star
the show.
Treks, Enterprise, has a fantastic intro that they then butcher by remixing it in like season 3. I still don't skip it. Here, Lazarus is played by Mark Gatiss. You might not recognize him at the moment. Wait,
Yeah, that guy's gonna
is
get
his name
young.
not Lazarus? Is it Richard Lazarus? Well, anyway, you have seen him write The Unquiet Dead, an episode name I always remember and never forget. But he's very prolific as a writer and an actor for the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctors.
Ooh.
He has not come back since 12. You might also recognize him from Sherlock. He plays what's Mycroft? That's his name, Sherlock's brother. But he's a big name. I like his scripts. They're none of them are like stellar. I think there's only one bad one, the Sandman one, but he's kind of known for mid-tier scripts, which isn't like totally unfair, but I like him. I got a soft spot for Gatiss scripts usually. I love the orchestral Doctor Who theme.
Oh.
I'm
a big man for strings.
I think we should do this more. I love just generally orchestral covers of songs that aren't orchestral. Like one of the reasons I liked in Rogue when they did like a Katy Perry song, wasn't it? Is simply because it was an orchestral cover of a Katy Perry song. Like any other instrument, I'd be harder on it. This is a nice dress, actually. Like, maybe she got it from the TARDIS, but yeah, I think Martha's well off.
Yeah.
Good. Doesn't her dad have, like, a sports car or something as well, thinking about it? Like a bright red... I have a memory of the father and, like, the girlfriend in, like, a bright red Lamborghini or something.
I don't remember.
Of course. Something I remember I think we should watch out for. I don't remember there being an inherent reason this experiment won't work. Maybe he gives one I've forgotten about, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, spoilers, it doesn't go all to plan. But I'm pretty sure it's just because the scientist messed up, not like the theory is fundamentally flawed. And again, the Doctor is immortal. So the Doctor can only regenerate so many times, right? But even that's not inherent. That's just something the Time Lords decided, which I've never understand it. But Rassilon was like, after 13, I don't know, you just got too much power. Basically, after 13, immortality bad. That's what he did. But
then
Rassilon,
also the Doctor, like,
the power-hungry control freak who literally created the, like, you know, I don't give a poop about alien species Time Lords, decided that living forever was bad. I don't understand it, but, you know. New York. Things. Living in a box. It is Lazarus. Cool. It's a pretty good old age makeup, you know? I mean...
Well, yeah, it's just so you can tell enough that they've made someone old, or it's like, they're going to make this guy young, aren't they?
I don't know if I would.
I
am face blind. My only complaint is it is super wrinkly, which you'll notice, like, obviously some people look like that, but when they age up actors, they often really exaggerate wrinkles, so you know they're old. Or maybe it's also to hide any oddities from the prosthetics. But it's good, you know?
Yeah.
We've said so many times, the practical effects department is nailing it. You should never do a CGI monster when your practical effects are this good.
That was a comically large button. I really like that.
I mean, all my buttons should be comically massive. Why not? It's an important button.
I suppose.
It's the spectacle, you know? I like how the overloading was those two, like, radio bars filled green and the numbers said 0. It's not like an error monitor or whatever, but... No, let him do it. You think I know how this works? I just pushed the button. In fact, I don't even work here. I just saw the button. Did I change... Okay, I did. This is just a poorly mixed episode. A goo goo gaga now. There he is, Mark Gatiss. Who actually looks young. I don't know if, like, they did some makeup to de-age him. Or did they dye his hair? Or is it just that old?
This might just be old.
2007?
Long time ago.
I don't know, but I've seen him in, like, 12th Doctor. I feel like he looks older in the next episode he's in, you know? Look, he's terrified. Doctor, you do this every other day. Well, bit of an exaggeration. Look at that. Get off your high horse. I'd also like to point out, I don't know if TV really did this. No, they did, because Cassandra's old, but, you know, that was kind of the point. Like, humans in the future live for centuries in this show. But that's fine. This isn't fine, though, you know? This is an abomination. Yeah. You should know your place and die at 80. I'm sorry, 76. Me, though, oh, that was like kindergarten. I started the academy at 80. Even if you're fully on board with, like, the anti-immortality thing, like, it's still condescending as hell, you know? And I think he wants to be young for, like, amoral reasons. He was lusting over Trish. He doesn't like his old wife for being old.
I'm enjoying I like the Like with the newest Doctor, every episode
15?
had its costume. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the balance. I think we talked about this before, where like there's a set 2 or 3, but then like every now and again they make sure to branch out and do something. Like, oh yeah, let's put him in a tuxedo.
I'm actually thinking, now that you're mentioning it, he's got the tux. He's got that space suit, that he'll wear every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Have we been putting him in a lot of other uniforms? Like, he'll wear time-appropriate stuff. Actually, I don't know if he does it that frequently.
I don't
but
feel
yeah,
like Pennant branches too often.
I feel very strong about at least a silhouette or like a set few outfits that really go together. I've said before, I think 15 pushes it a little far. And like, yes, it's a bit contrived, but I don't know. He's got 2,000 years of history of being a bit contrived. If my clothes never got dirty, I'd wear the same thing every day too. I'd have 3 outfits. In a few episodes, you'll look back and be like, oh man, I hate regenerating. Wait, the Doctor also said always happens in this kind of process. That implies this is a thing in other parts of the world, or universe, other times.
Yeah.
Fun fact, a lot of these skylines are kind of a similar area that a lot of people think Russell T Davies just like lived in a flat that had that view. Because he did live around this area. Like, the flat when Margaret the Celine is like, I used to live right up there.
Yeah.
There's a theory that actually was Russell T Davies' apartment. And he's like, would call it out,
That's really funny.
Yeah. But he lived around that area. That is known.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing, is like he's got trauma around World War II, and that's part of why he wants to live forever. The, like, coward, immoral. Look at that face.
You're old. Weird.
But no, he only wants to live forever because people are ugly when they're old.
What's wrong? Look at yourself. It's crazy.
It is a little, yeah.
You seen yourself? That's what's wrong. Oh god.
There's a level where that works, but you're right. It's very like, oh, hang on, now that I've said it. I mean, that's the point. He's the villain, but
yeah,
it just feels very disingenuous. You've got your immortal character putting him down, and it's like, also, immortality sucks. The Doctor's like, it sucks, I would know. It's like, yeah, but I could write a version where he likes being immortal, and that would work. You haven't actually demonstrated why. Other episodes put the legwork in. His friends die, but this solves that problem! I was thinking the other day, right? Oh, wait, you haven't seen the Chameleon Arch yet. Do you remember the Chameleon Arch? Like the Family of Blood episode where they go back in time and the Doctor is like a human?
Maybe. No.
Okay. But there's a device in the TARDIS that can change your species, just casually.
Oh.
I was thinking, he wouldn't do it for a lot of reasons. But could the Doctor just make a Time Lord? It's like, you want to be a Time Lord now? Like, you want to regenerate to a companion? And we'll try and remember that when we get to that episode, because it's this season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Mr. Saxon! Sorry. They said Mr. Saxon.
That would be addressed.
Well, I feel like there's a lot of established reasons the Doctor would not do that, but it was something I thought. Like, does he actually just have that power? Regeneration is just like DNA. It's a thing you can slice into another species' DNA. What's the point? You should really have like 12 doctors around his person at all times after this experiment, you know?
I would think.
Or like, could you imagine just hosting this conference, then leaving immediately? No speech, no anything, just bye.
Just went and got young.
Yeah, you know. I don't remember that guy. Her brother.
He was there, I think.
He's there later, I remember, but...
He's a good mom.
I mean, yeah. I guess it's just mom power is the explanation they give, but it is a little weird to me that she's like... I mean, to be fair, it was this, like, doctor guy mom's never met before. They were totally evasive about everything, but surely the conclusion is, like, they're dating. Not like, I don't know, he's a kidnapper. I feel like we've escalated. Well, we've escalated, you know? It's like not a good mom at that point. You've left good mom territory. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Before this episode, we were doing that Hoodle game you've seen a few times, where guess the episode from the screenshots. That was one of the screenshots that came up. And I'm like, we gotta look out for it. So you'll get it next week. Yeah. Oh, so now she looks bad. They had a normal cup, though. Still, I like that she still has her lipstick on it, though.
On the cup?
There's little... No, on her lips. They're slightly lipsticky. It's a nice touch. But yeah, she did say lady.
Lady Thaw, I think, is funny.
I mean, Lazarus is smart enough to invent immortality. He could have been knighted.
That's true. He's old.
Old British people are all knights.
Yeah.
This is known. The Fourth Doctor recently received, like, the lowest level of knighthood. Not a knighthood, but... I don't know. I don't know the system too well.
Me neither.
A lot of people turn it down, because it's literally called, like, Member of the British Empire or something like that. Knight of the British Empire. So who did? I think the 12th or 10th Doctor, one of them did turn it down, we recently learned. I don't remember who, though. I think it might have been Capaldi. But citation needed. See, now he's a terrorist. That man's gonna die. That 10th Doctor regenerates because of Martha's mom.
I don't know. I get behind this mom.
Now I would be on board. You know, that's a little... Okay, Men in Black just said that man's dangerous.
I really like this office.
Barren as hell. It's new.
Yeah, and he gets the whole floor.
Look,
it's probably just because they didn't have budget for anything crazy, but...
It's probably the Torchwood office that just emptied.
I like it. It's definitely, having an entire empty floor to yourself is comically evil.
Buy it. But, like, it'd look different if I actually used it as an office.
Yeah.
I mean, my office is kind of like that, because it's just this weird little room off the basement. Is Mark Gatiss blonde? I don't think he is. I feel like all his other characters have brown hair, and for some reason he looks young. I think he's got the 5th Doctor's haircut, who looked super young, too.
Maybe he's actually blonde, but every other role he ever does.
Yeah, I'm looking up. No, he's got, like... In fact, it might even be a bit red, his hair. But it's like a brownie, maybe slightly red. He looks older nowadays, though. No, he looks so young. When... Mark Gatiss. Hang on. Nin 1966. Wow, he's looking good. He's 41 years old.
Wow.
That's either
Looking good.
Yeah. I might have the skin of a 41-year-old, but it's that hair is really taking years
Yeah,
off his figure. Now that I know it, I'm like, I could see that, but yes! And if those people could live for 5,000 years, they'd probably live those 5,000 years the same as they did those 20 years, Doctor. Sorry, I've ruined everything. God, I hate that argument so much. It's like, yes, but, you know, if the kid who died of cancer at 18 had actually lived a full life, he probably would have lived a super full life for the rest of those 60 years, you know? I've made you I've made you quiet.
PG. Oh, I was waiting for this shot.
There we go. Here's that's not as good. No.
I see.
Yeah. You see.
You never want to put a human face on it.
Well, is he still immortal though? You know, that's
overall.
The question. Huh.
I think I like the monster design.
I mean, it's a good design.
They didn't need to put a human. Oh, you can't put a human face on it. It just gets uncanny.
I know. I like the face. It adds to it's a bit of body horror element. I think it adds to the creepiness, but it was an idea a little ahead of its time.
Yeah, you know? These days, put a face on it.
2007. What were the big like CGI? Did we have the Avengers then? The original Avengers?
Oh no.
I think we're a bit later, but we had like Iron Man. I think. Yeah. Original Avengers is, yes, a comic. Avengers movie. 2012. Okay, yeah. 2007 movies. Could you imagine if someone ran into the room? Like, you're all in danger. You need to get out of here now. And that was the only reaction.
Yeah, I kind of like this freaky looking thing.
Top 50 movies of 2007. Here we go. Man, a lot of movies I don't know. To be fair, I was 7. Transformers. The original Transformers. So, like, they're metal. You know, they're big static metal things. Yeah. But if you had a budget, you could probably realize this. The Simpsons movie. Shrek the Third.
God.
I Am Legend. I'm looking for some like mid-range live action I've seen. Well, I mean, even if you did this nowadays, there'd probably be some people who complain it's uncanny, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, people complain about the babies in Space Babies. Well, I'll say, of the top 50 movies of the year 2007, Transformers is the only CGI-heavy one, so maybe that tells us something about how feasible this was. And again, Transformers were static metal objects, which, like, yeah, you can render that. Yeah. This is different. Why is he a big scorpion, though?
A good question.
Where does that energy come from? How does his skin come back? Where does suit go? You know, there are reasons people don't like this one. She's using her doctor abilities.
That's always good.
I think, right, I'd always had a problem with people who complain Martha's doctoring just goes away. I think she's the companion who uses her, like, established skill set the most. I think I forgot that because I've heard it so much. Because I acted all surprised when she did it the first time, and now I'm remembering.
Yeah.
She's constantly using her doctor abilities. And sure, that doesn't, like, make her a good character on its own. But I think it's unfair to say she doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, Donna was a temp, and people are always like, oh, they use that so often. It's like, pfft, she's like a secretary. Like, yes, they use it, but it's much more abstract than being a doctor, you know? That is a problem. But why not, like, meat or something, you know? I mean, yeah. I'm vegan, but that's societally acceptable, you know? And the thing about immortality is you could just wait till they cure this. Be reasonable here, doctor. Okay, this is jokey arguments. I know I'm arguing a controversial opinion here. Immortality good. I don't know why that's controversial, but actually I kind of know. But yeah.
There's another comically large big red button on that desk. 2 in 1 episode. This is a good episode. It's my book.
Well, you like dinosaurs on a spaceship, so.
True.
We both thought Space Babies was fine. Are we really the authority? Oh, I like that. The big mouth open thing.
Oh yeah.
I think the CGI guy's good. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I don't think it's awful.
I can tell it's CGI, but this
Yeah.
is Doctor Who. Is it really even much different than some effects we get?
We had that skin lady just
Yeah.
too long ago.
But she was partially animated. I know there's a prop for Cassandra, but I don't know how much of it is.
Mm.
See, now there's justified concern, is the mom.
But then, you compare it to the...
Wait, is this the science class from School Reunion? No. It's too big. Anyway, go on.
You compare it to something like the physical costume in Runaway Bride, and it's night and day,
Runaway
horrifically
Bride.
awful.
Well, but that thing couldn't move, though. And as I said before, there are shots where you can see the big metal thing that puppets it. Not many, but there are shots. And, you need the kind of action here. I think it's fine.
I can suspend my disbelief. It's totally CG. And I
it's
can, go
fine today. If this came out in an episode today, I'd say it's fine. This is good, though. I put it forward. Look at that. You could see an Optimus Prime fighting that thing.
It's cool enough character design, in my opinion.
And this is why, one of the reasons it helps? Doctor Who is still not in HD. If that was HD, it'd be god-awful.
That's true.
But I think it's good. I have a habit of hating episodes people hate, but for totally different reasons. I mean, I guess you could argue it's a bit needless action-y, but they do try a lot of philosophy. I just fundamentally disagree with it, and I think it's going to get me killed. So, I'm very against it. She did love him, even though when she did just meet him,
Who is this buzzkill?
I was about to say, do you want a buzzkill? Do you want to talk about this? Because I know everything about this guy, but you wanna chip in? Let's get your vibes.
Learn.
You're the newbie.
He's got something to do with that one guy that everyone keeps talking about.
Mr. Saxon?
Yeah.
Why would you think Mr. Saxon's involved in anything? That's weird.
Just a hunch.
It's not like they're saying Bad Wolf. What was last season's? Did last season have a repeated phrase? Oh, Torchwood. That's right.
No.
He built an immortality machine and made it the most generic sci-fi thing ever, 10 years before the generic sci-fi aesthetic. Also, is it just me, or did you think that David Tennant was reaching down Martha's shirt in that shot there?
It really was had that look to it. It really
he was blocking things. His hand was going down. Yeah, dormant genes. We all got that in us.
Right.
That's how evolution works. Yeah. The doctor's daughter guy wrote it. Weirdly enough, actually kind of does a biological twist right. Huh. It's not night and day, but it's really? Of your 2 episodes.
Big red buttons.
I think it's the same button, but...
Well, it was, but I've got to see it twice.
Look, the audience has to focus their attention somewhere, Caden. They have to see the button.
So what I want to happen in the next 15 minutes of this episode...
Oh, God, we're almost done? Wow.
Is they turn into babies, they go up onto their machine, Lazarus is like, I can't kill a baby, and then they turn into monsters, and they have an epic fight.
No, Martha's a baby, but the doctor's the first doctor.
Yeah. And then they turn into their own dinosaurs, and they beat him up. And, of course, they didn't do it. Yeah, there it is.
You know, an
disappointing.
individual incarnation of a Time Lord can live for like 1,000 years.
Man,
And some of the ones who live on Gallifrey are like millennia old. I just want that out there.
I'm disappointed the Doctor didn't turn into a dinosaur. If the
It,
Doctor turned into a dinosaur, I'd be
dinosaur.
sold forever.
Oh, hey, look, it's the naked
He's
kid.
naked.
How many licks, huh? How many licks? He's very freckly.
Ugh.
But, like, there's nothing wrong with the technology, right? It could work. Just
Yeah.
iron out
It's
that
just,
thing about
oh, yeah.
the genes, you
The
know?
DNA.
In fact, even in the real world, if we had, like, total control over DNA, everything we tell us say it should be really trivial to just make ourselves immortal. Like, it's not that hard, biologically speaking. It's just evolution has no incentive to do it. Because after you're done making babies, evolution just kind of stops working. You know, like you're not going to pass those genes on. That's why all of the like age-related things and deterioration starts happening at like 35 to 40. You're done making babies. That's not going to pass on. Also, literally like 20 minutes ago, I was thinking, I think Martha's mom is the only one that doesn't slap the doctor.
Oh, well, there it goes.
Yeah. I forgot how much she hated the doctor. I wonder what the guy told her, though. Just that, like, he's dangerous?
Yeah.
Probably not like he's a Time Lord from Gallifrey with a TARDIS. But, I mean, probably just the negative spin on things, right? Like, everywhere he goes, death follows.
Yeah.
Remember when, like, aliens invaded the last 2 Christmases? That was him. You know? Just to spin it. Here's Unit's entire file base on all the alien invasions.
Really good dead people props in this episode.
Again, props department, physical effects department, just bangers. I think they got a great run for almost all the modern era. There's a bit of a dip, as I recall, at some point, but they really come back like halfway through the Chibnall era. And even then, maybe they're always great, they just stopped making memorable monsters. Honestly, that's actually probably it. Like 12th, early 13th Doctor monsters, they probably look great, you just forget them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice looking church.
Killed this guy twice now.
Well, he is immortal, to be fair.
And they need a third way.
I mean, did they kill him, though? They brought him to an ambulance, not a hearse. They probably checked his
blew him
pulse.
up, and then I assumed there was some death when they exploded him with the force of his magic immortality machine. Gotta love a cathedral, though.
It's nice. Literally the scene where he chastises the guy for immortality, he's like, oh no, I'm immortal. I know he didn't real time live, but he's done it many times over, you know? He flaunts his abilities as a Time Lord as he chastises the guy. He's literally like, I saw how horrible death was and I wanted to end it. He's like, idiot. That's what he did today. There we go. I mean, look, he's got a good point. This technique clearly needs work. But the doctor recognizes this technology, right?
Yeah.
Like, if he went, it fundamentally can't work. Do that, you know? Also, we haven't got there yet, but Jack Harkness is immortal. Whoops-a-doodle.
Oh, I remember talking about that. Yeah.
Whoops-a-doodle. Ah, Jack, hey, buddy. I guess it's all right now. In fact, we actually established that the Doctor's prejudice against immortality in that episode, so, you know, that's this season, by the way. Let's just add that to the context of the Lazarus experiment. In, like, 6 episodes, we established the Doctor's prejudice against immortals.
I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm really agreeing with Lazarus here, even in the episode.
What, even like that he has to eat people?
Well, no, but it's like the doctor's like, "You call that success?" He's like, "I call it progress." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I mean,
I mean, don't get me wrong. You should really do something. Maybe even
yeah,
Lazarus
they should
has
really
to
fix that."
die, but like, attempt a medical solution? You're the flippin' doctor. Can you really not stop this and then even make him old again? Like, if you really want to go a hard reset here? Yeah, but everyone's immortal, Doctor. But yeah, everyone's immortal. What's turning to dust? But everyone's immortal, Doctor. Okay, more serious argument is like, yeah, people die. Like, eventually, in infinite time, you'd have an accident or something, you'd die.
Yeah.
But also in real life, like, we've got an aunt who died fairly young of cancer.
Yeah.
You probably don't remember it. It was like we were really young.
Yeah, like none.
But
I was
like,
young.
that uncle, he doesn't go, well, man, I wish I was dead. I mean, obviously it was rough, but he remarried. He's married again now. And like, it's not like, oh shoot, people I love die. That's just the end now. Like, everyone's immortal. It's very unlikely that everyone you know would die. Kind of like as happens now when you get old and all your friends who are old start dying. It's like, there'd be that spread out, and it really wouldn't be much different than now when you lose someone at a younger age. Where, like, I mean, you get over it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still gonna suck, but that has nothing to do with the fact you're immortal, right?
Yeah.
Like, and again, if all your friends die and you go, I don't want to live anymore, great. Stop being immortal. You've now lived the life you wanted to, not, as long as you had to.
Oh man, he's scary again. I love it.
Or maybe just don't be immortal in the first place. Then you don't have to watch all your friends die. Like, it's not some sort of... We don't have to strap you down. This isn't an all-or-nothing situation here.
Well, Doctor's about to play an incredible organ solo.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum. No, what would be the tackiest thing?
Martha
still alive. Or staying alive. That's what he plays.
Martha turns into a dinosaur, has a fight with Lazarus, and the Doctor plays the organ for the soundtrack.
That would be go down in history. So that would be jumping the shark. No, that's jumping the shark. Like, you'd love it, but you recognize that'd be like the most hated episode there is.
100%. Oh.
I don't think Doctor Who really has a jump the shark moment. I think it's just a little too insane. I don't even know if it could. Like, even if Martha became... Like, I remember that time we casually established a war between Time Lords and vampires?
Yeah.
If that wasn't jumping the shark... like, you can't... I don't think you can in this franchise.
We're pretty close right here, though.
But, is this even that unusual? Like, for Doctor Who?
Just, you write it on paper, and it is funny.
But shout out to David Tennant, giving it all on that organ.
Absolutely.
Like, he's not even acting against anything here. It's a big CGI monster.
He's feeling the music.
I think it's good. I like the monster.
I think I do too.
I genuinely don't see the problem with it. If it's a thing you can't do and practically, and it's like the story's worth it, which to be fair, I don't think this one is, but just like do it, Yeah. I think this is within the realm of achievability. Like, we had that werewolf, that was CGI. The Slovene were CGI. But the Slovene didn't really work because more the practical. The actors weren't practiced enough. They didn't really establish how fast they'd move. So there's a disconnect between the CGI and the normal one. Mm-hmm. But, that's like literally the first thing they shot. So cut them some slack.
I think Tooth and Claw is still my favorite CGI monster so far.
Wasn't the hair good? I think it was a
I
mix
just
of the
remember
hair, the
feeling it was
lighting.
good.
It wasn't, but there were a lot of good ways to trick you into thinking it was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
There's just a naked old man in the church now. How many licks?
Oh, it's horrible.
What? Too soon? That's why I want on my tombstone. How many licks? No context. No, I've said before, you know what I really want my tombstone? Is I want them to embed. Maybe it's like carved, I haven't figured this out, but I love embedded into the tombstone is a keyboard. But I want it to last, you know, right? So maybe it is just carved. And I genuinely just want the epitaph to say press F to pay respects. But like I like the idea that for centuries there's no context. The context is absolutely lost, but becomes this sort of weird thing that like people like you go to the gravestone and you see press F to pay respects and you see this keyboard. Maybe we don't even have QWERTY keyboards, but you see there's no F and one of the sections is like rubbed out because people have just pressed it over the centuries. You know, I'd do that if I saw press F to pay respects. I'd press F.
Give it a click, yeah.
And I like that. I want that to be my legacy. Is that I want to be in like the top 10 weird things in Spokane YouTube videos of the future. You know, is like the press F grave. You know, it's like no one knows why. Is it context? Is it just a thing? Like I become the origin. It's still a meme in the future, but because of me. I don't know about that, Doctor. Look at that. Just an empty corner of the room to fit the TARDIS. The problem is she called the home phone, not the mobile.
Is that a lamp? A battery, a golf ball, and
a golf
3...
ball? Hang on. What is that? No, we're gonna go back, but let's let it finish out. I noticed it too, but didn't say anything. When you point out the golf ball, hang on. That was the end of the episode.
Battery underneath it too.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, there's it's a jar, like a yellow jar, with like a AA, a golf ball. Are they lemons?
Things. No idea.
Oh, it's her science experiment. The 2 AA's, and this is the lemons. It's a lemon battery. It's can you charge a golf ball? That's how she got
in the mug.
Hang on, let's just show everyone this. Let me make sure my episode monitor is set up. Good. There we go. Let's, did I have the engine hums muted before? No, I didn't. There we go. And then hide the timer, and then hide the arm. Look at that thing. Modern art.
Really
everyone.
abstract. But it says all.
I mean, we really kind of didn't pay attention to that episode at all. But thoughts? I mean, I'm pretty clear. I'm fundamentally against the morals it's presented.
I wouldn't say it was the first bad episode. I would say it was another one in a series of totally fine episodes.
You know what? Having not paid attention to the episode at all, I might agree. I noticed lengthwise it didn't nearly focus on the whole anti-immortality thing as much. It's just even ignoring how I feel personally. It's extremely condescending with the Doctor doing all this stuff. And, like, I would forgive it a little more if it's like, oh, the 4th Doctor, or especially, like, the 11th Doctor was all like, oh, you know, when I was 400 years old, just a child. But it's this season has, like, multiple lines like that, you know? And, like, yes, this is the Doctor who throws a tantrum about regenerating. Not dying, regenerating. But, like, even though he equates it to dying, that's another thing. That's not yet. That's the future. We don't know that's going to happen, right? I don't really hold that against this episode. But the problem is that moment is still kind of in character. Or not that. The idea of, like, wanting to live more feels in character. And the thing of, like, oh, yeah, 80 years old is like a child is in character. Like, we debate, was Susan 80 years old? Like the Doctor's granddaughter, you know, who he treats like a teenager. Yeah, but it's not great. I don't know. I don't know if I skip it when I watch through. I haven't watched through Doctor Who for so long. I think I might watch it. But yeah, and again, I'm fundamentally opposed to like the ethics. It doesn't do a good job of justifying why. And again, this show has established, like in modern era, people of the future just live centuries because yes, technology gets more advanced. Like they're not immortal, but still, would
Yeah.
you die at 80, Doctor? You know,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, the yeah. But next time, it's a big moment, right? Next week is 42. 42. The Tris Chibnall's introduction. His first credit into the Doctor Who universe. Of course, controversial figure. I am very interested, even though it's 42, and I've said before, of every episode Chibnall's written for his era and before. He definitely has, like, you notice it's a Chibnall episode, which isn't a critique. Like Moffat and Russell T Davies both have that. It's like if you know them, you can be like, yeah, you wrote this.
Yeah.
42 is the least Chibnall episode one there is. I mean, it's still the most Chibnall thing that it's a 42-minute episode, not in real time. I will maintain that, but that's a little more meta. No, it's just that would take way more effort in drafts than he as a writer is going to take. But Power 3 is also not super Chibnall, as I remember it. That's an episode notable for its biggest failure, being the actor they hired for the main villain just refused to do what he was told, and they had to edit around it, like, horribly, so the ending falls... I know, it's a baffling story for
really
another
funny.
day. But, I wonder, maybe you'll poke at something and be like, oh no, that's a Chibnallism. Or maybe you'll be like, oh, this guy is like the death of Doctor Who. This is like the next Hitler? That doesn't make sense, But to be clear, I don't think that Chris Chibnall is the next Hitler. We like to have a little bit of exaggerating fun around here. But, no, it's interesting. I mean, I do think it's a bit mid of an episode, but, to be fair, a lot of the 10th Doctor's a bit mid as episodes, if we're being honest.
Oh, ouch.
Look at this string. This entire first row. Runaway
Yeah, but I
Blind,
thought the whole
Smith and
second row was,
Joan,
like,
no, Shakespeare Code, Gridlock, the Dalek two-parter, Lazarus. All of those are mid.
Isn't the whole second row like the best?
Oh, yeah,
line of
these are
Doctor Who?
bangers. Like, people complain about... even then, I think Last of the Time Lords is the finale people complain about the least. It still kind of Deus Ex Machinas itself out, spoilers, but like it's got the most sustenance in getting there, I think. Like it's still Russell T Davies, but
So
here's the least Russell T Davies finale of all the Russell T Davies finales. Like the back half is banger. Yes, Human Nature, Family of Blood, Blink, Utopia, Sound of Drums, Last of the Time Lords is the best streak of episodes in, like, it's 6 episodes. Yeah, that's a banger.
I'm excited for it.
But we got 40. And again, 42 isn't even bad. It's just, like, it's not quite the same level as those bangers, but...
Yeah.
I'm excited to get Chibnall in play, like in the context of reviews. I mean, we won't see him again till like season 6.
Oh. Wow.
Wait, no, it's Cold Blood. Yeah, he's only got one Moffat story. Wait, is it season? Oh, no, here it is. Hungry Earth, Cold Blood. We won't see Chibnall again till season 5. But then he's a little more consistent. He's got Power 3 next season. No, he doesn't. He's got 2 in season 7 then, really? Yeah, he's got 2 in season 7. Dinosaurs in a Spaceship, Power 3. There you go. Okay, yeah, almost back-to-back Chibnall, wow.
No.
Then I think he goes away until his run. But I do think I got 11's. We'll talk more when we get there. 11 is the 11th Doctor Chris Chibnall episodes are fascinating to go back to, especially because I watched it before his era. But coming back in the Chris Chibnall episodes, the 11th Doctor is just the 13th Doctor, played by Matt Smith. It's like, oh yeah, this is Chibnall's Doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen another even like when the episode is written for the previous Doctor, because they didn't know he was regenerating, or the new one doesn't have a character yet. I've never seen a Doctor feel more like the other than 11 in the Chibnall episodes, because it's just the 13th Doctor. And I mean, that makes sense, because it's like Chris Chibnall writing the Doctor. But, yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking forward. 42. Bet you're wondering. Yeah. I already got the episode description for that. I came up with Lazarus Experiment like this morning, I think, because I just was so disheartened by the Lazarus Experiment, you know.
Yeah, really put that one off. I see.
Well, you know, I was like, the worst case is just going to be disappointed at the intro, you know.
No.
But sometimes they'll be a bit different, you know. Let's Kill Hitler's going to be a bit different.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, not an episode, but that's a good. Yeah.
Be a good story.
Well, you know, it's a lesson in taking your time. Let's Kill Hitler. You don't want to botch that job. You don't rush it. You know, World War II, you gotta slow burn that thing.
Yeah, you do.
Chris Chibnall, everyone. Looking forward to it. You can put that on the box. Put it on the cover. I will say thank you all very much, unless you want to say anything.
I'm just excited to see Chrissy.
Yeah, good. You wrote Invasion, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Got like a pet name. I'm really hoping, right? I haven't said this on stream yet, that you become like the most toxic Chris Chibnall hater. Like, we have to stop the streams. You're just so bad.
Let me calm down.
And then we have like 2 years of near constant praises for Chris Chibnall just on record for you, you know? Like, a lesson in learning what you say on the internet. A lesson Chris Chibnall learned the hard way after a news interview about the last season of Doctor Who he didn't quite like. Oh boy, that's we are gonna have some fun with that clip. It is, but that's for another day.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I will. If you've never seen it, Google Chris Chibnall news interview, Trial of a Time Lord, 1980s. Mwah. Mwah. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
I have a prepared joke.